I was pretty surprised yesterday when I saw the Adam Schefter report that the Tennessee Titans are going to interview Jason Garrett to be the next head coach of the Titans. Yes, Jason Garrett, Coach Clap. I couldn't believe it. Twitter yesterday, when that came out, lost their ever-loving minds over the idea of Jason Garrett being the next coach of the Titans. But let me just say this when it comes to the Titans and Jason Garrett. What did I tell you on Monday when it came to all the job interviews the Titans were going to do? I said they already know who they're going to hire, but they are going to interview everybody and their grandma so they can say they interviewed everybody and their grandma. And some of their interviews will be favors. For instance, Steve Spagnuolo is not going to be the next head coach of the Titans, but Steve Spagnuolo is getting a head coaching interview. Why? It's a favor that tells the league, hey, don't forget about Spags. We're interviewing him to be our head coach. He must be worth something. Mike McCoy is a favor interview. They don't need to interview Mike McCoy to be the coach. They already know what he would be. They're not going to hire him. But they're interviewing him as a favor, as a thank you for the good job that Mike McCoy did holding things together as an interim head coach. And this, I believe, is the third favor interview the Titans are doing. I think Jason Garrett is getting an interview because Jason Garrett's first staff in Dallas had a defensive assistant on it. That is the lowest level position there is in the NFL. Defensive assistant, quality control coach, an offensive assistant, defensive assistant. It's one of the guys that's technically a coach, but they're not making real money. They don't have their own office. They're a low-level coach. The first year that Jason Garrett was the full-time head coach in Dallas, 2011. He took over for Wade Phillips in 2010. In 2011, Jason Garrett put together his first staff. And he had a defensive assistant, a low-level coaching position on his staff with a coach by the name of Dave Borgonzi. That is Mike Borgonzi's brother. Now, Mike Borgonzi's brother, Dave, is the linebackers coach now for the Dallas Cowboys. Dave Borgonzi got his start in the NFL by coaching for Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, if you will remember, was a Princeton guy, Ivy League guy. He hired Dave Borgonzi from Harvard, where he was coaching DBs. Now, Jason Garrett has been out of the game since 2021 when he was fired by Joe Judge as the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. Like all these football people, they all want back in. Sometimes that's why they do television. It's not because they want the paycheck or not because they want the notoriety, but they do television because they want back in. They want people to remember them. And I don't know if that's the case with Jason Garrett or not. But Jason Garrett wants people to remember his name. Give me a job interview. I'm only 59 years old. It's not like I'm 78. But as far as the Titans actually hiring Jason Garrett, this is not a serious interview. But I will say this about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was not that bad as a head coach in Dallas. He was 85-67 in Dallas. He won Coach of the Year in 2016 in Dallas. His resume is a lot like Matt Nagy's. Made the playoffs a couple of times, Coach of the Year. But he also has this that Matt Nagy doesn't have, that Cliff Kingsbury doesn't have, that a lot of these prospective coaches do not have. They took a quarterback in the fourth round by the name of Dak Prescott, and they have developed him into a top 10 quarterback. Not saying I'd hire Jason Garrett, but let's not act like Jason Garrett was an unmitigated disaster in Dallas. He wasn't. They made the playoffs. They won a playoff game under Jason Garrett, got screwed out of another playoff game under Jason Garrett. And Dallas is a very unique situation in the NFL. Jerry doesn't like to spend, and Jerry likes all the attention. And the head coach works for Jerry, which is why Bill Parcells didn't last very long in Dallas because Bill Parcells and Jerry just couldn't be together forever. So Jason Garrett was great at playing the game with Jerry Jones. Well, it's a very unique situation here. But let's not act like Jason Garrett was just all bad in Dallas, because he wasn't. Again, he was 85-67. Dave Campo, talk about a slap dick coach. Dave Campo was disastrous in Dallas. He was 15-33 in 3 years. That's disastrous. Brian Callahan, 4 wins in a season and a half. That's disastrous. Jason Garrett was not a disaster in Dallas. And I'm surprised Jason Garrett didn't get a second chance. Now, again, if I was Jason Garrett, I would not have gone to the Joe Judge New York Giants to be offensive coordinator to rehabilitate my image. But, hey, it happens. But I think Jason Garrett is a favor interview. Jason Garrett gave Mike Borgonzi's brother his shot in the NFL. And because of that, Mike Borgonzi probably feels somebody probably reached out and said, will you just give Jason Garrett an interview? And Mike Borgonzi already knows who he's going to hire, I believe. And so he's probably just going to sit back there and just say, okay, yeah, fine, I'll give him an interview. It's fine. I mean, look at the Titans general manager search. They interviewed a bunch of guys they knew they weren't going to hire. Those are courtesy interviews. They knew they weren't going to hire Thomas Dimitrov. That was a courtesy interview. They knew when they hired Rand Carthon and they interviewed Ryan Cowden and Monty Ossenfort, they knew they weren't going to hire them. Courtesy interviews happen all the time. Jason Garrett is a courtesy interview. Don't read too much into it.